have no problem. Just for information.
It's got on, good. So we're just missing Reza and Brian. Well, we definitely have a quorum. Are we on air yet?
Yes.
We are, okay. I'm going to call the meeting to order, the regular open meeting of the United Laguna Woods Mutual Board of Directors of California, Nonprofit Mutual Benefit Corporation. Today is Tuesday, December 8th at 9:30. This is a virtual meeting, and we have a quorum, so I'm going to call it to order. We thank the TV people for being with us and hope they're all safe and healthy, and we really appreciate being able to display this on the television for everybody. We're missing one of the VMS appointees. Could you give Ray a call to see if he can get on the system, please, Grant?
I see Mr. Riahi is on here.
The situation with the agenda is that there are a lot of little mistakes, and we're going to go through the agenda and then we'll approve it at the end when we have corrected it completely. So I want to make sure that we get all the corrections in. So we'll move on to the approval of the minutes. Can I have a motion to approve the minutes? Let's just do them all together unless there's some corrections that need to be done. Is there anyone that'll move to approve the minutes?
I have a correction on one of the minutes.
I so move.
I do as well.
Andre moved.
I have a
Brian,
question.
are you seconding it?
On the minutes, one of the minutes for the tabulation meeting showed me as not there, and I was in fact there.
Okay, so we moved and we're going to correct them now. Okay, so Elsie, go first. What's your correction?
And the November 3rd, which I believe is a tabulation meeting, I was there. I might have been a few minutes late, but I was definitely there for the whole meeting.
Okay, and the same with Brian,
Yep.
correct? Okay, are there any other corrections? Okay, we'll accept them with acclamation then and move on. So this is the report of the chair. And the end of the year was a good time for the board to look over what we accomplished during the year and to consider ways we could work better for next year. There are well-established ways to improve the quality of one's organization, and we'll take a stab at attacking the issue. We will continue to work on it so that every board member knows what are our goals for the next year and how they relate to where we think we'll be in 3 and 5 years. The various chairs have put together the goal list, and I'll be sharing those with you over time. Everyone is eagerly taking on their new duties, and we're looking forward to a productive year. We have a very well-seasoned board, and we can move forward from the get-go. Unfortunately, we still have COVID with us, and that limits our direct interface with residents. Laguna Woods is still a safe place, and most residents wear masks and keep social distance. But we have no control of our neighboring communities where, for instance, there are still restaurants and open, and if we can hold out until the vaccine is dispensed, our property values will hold. If Laguna Village were to become a hot spot for COVID, it would be disastrous. We are all adults, and we can follow simple rules and keep each other safe. The board hears many complaints of this, but it's not available. I want to assure you that we're not saving money by not opening facilities. Money was collected for room rentals, clubs, and activities. The extra cleaning being done is also costing. The amenities are wonderful here, but that's only a small part of the budget and almost none of United's. At present, United is spending 21% of our funds on the Push-O-Matic upgrades, relining the pipes, and re-roofing and tree trimming. 15% on utilities, water, sewer, and garbage. 8% on insurance. 42% on dry rot, painting, plumbing problems, electrical problems, landscaping, and all the work orders. If you think this work should be stopped or be reduced, please let the board know what needs to be done. Last year, the board worked hard not to have an increase in the assessment and make sure there would not be a need for a special assessment in the near future. Please realize these board members are unpaid volunteers who put in over 20 hours of their life hours each week, hoping for the betterment of the community. The board knows things could be better and are working on making it the best for all residents. Thank you. Okay, we have the open forum. Do we have any questions, Becky?
Good morning, President Margolis and esteemed members of the board. We do have 3 member comments today. The first one is from Joseph Italiano from 2183P. His member comment is to the United Board. In the state of California, over 60 cities have a complete or partial ban on gas-powered leaf blowers, including the city of Laguna Woods, and California is considering a full statewide ban on leaf blowers. I shall refer you to the attached grand jury study regarding leaf blowers with regards to pollution, noise, and cost efficiency. This week, while a ceiling fan was being installed, I observed the local shrubbery being trimmed, followed by the touch labor using a rake to clear the droppings from the beds. Foolish me to think that someone had realized that leaf blowers and flower beds don't mix well. As this scene rolled out, a man with a leaf blower blew the raked beds and continued to do so for 3 hours. Efficient, isn't it? And this is not the first time. Last week, directly underneath my bedroom window, the shrubs were trimmed and with the trimmings falling into a drainage canal. Rather than raking and packaging the trimmings, the leaf blower came. Then everything was raked and packaged. Let's eliminate a step in this process, don't you think? From the grand jury study, particulate pollution, the air jet generated by the blowers will, with velocities of 185 miles per hour or more, spreads dust, dirt, pollens, animal droppings, herbicides, and pesticides into the air. The effects last for hours on particulate matter that is 10 microns in diameter or smaller. The ARB has estimated that each leaf blower in trains puts into the atmosphere 5 pounds of particulate matter per hour, about half of which is 10 microns or smaller. The EPA and ARB state that such particulate matter can create the same health risks as does the exhaust pollution. Thank goodness we didn't blow up the budget. One thing needs to be done that would go a long way in solving the problem. Instruct the touch labor to cease the use of leaf blowers in the flower beds. That requires a great administrative upheaval, no staff report, no meetings held where you complain about residents who think you have nothing better to do, no vested interest in the status quo. All it requires is a simple memo to the crew leaders. A final note, virtually every day I hear a drone of Laguna Beach, and I'm not alone. Think about that. And instead of telling me to jump into administrative morass, consider what Catherine Laster can do to create a better place to live. VMS controls what goes on in village, and Catherine Laster and VMS can stop this. Very truly yours, Joseph Italiano. Next member comment is from John Beckett, 364Q. Let me open up the attachment. Okay.
Hope it's not as long.
I know. The members of United got some bad news in the mail. On January 1st, our monthly assessments will go up. In 2020, each member was assessed $13 per month for insurance. Next year, insurance costs will triple. President Margolis has suggested a way to cut those costs by spreading the risk among the entire membership. I think her suggestions merits investigation. My HO6 policy includes $500 in loss assessment coverage, which pays expenses that aren't covered by United's insurance. State Farm is willing to increase my coverage to $10,000 for an additional $15 a year. If that is true for all United members, we can obtain a $630 million in coverage for only a fraction of what United will have to pay. Before transitioning to self-management, we hired a lawyer who specializes in labor law. TCM employees became our employees without a hitch. Before transitioning to self-insurance, the boards must resolve several important issues, including some things that insurance companies and brokers don't mention. I suggest that the board authorize President Margolis to consult a lawyer who specializes in insurance law. I guarantee you'd be glad you did. Okay, that's the end of that one. All right. Next one, Michelle Golden at 250G as in go. On behalf of the 250 and 251 Kaya Aragon homeowners, we kindly request that lighting be added or installed for the sidewalks in front of our manors, at least one on each side. The sidewalk is so dark at night that you cannot see where you are walking. This creates a very unsafe condition. Please let me know if I can provide any further information. Thank you for your consideration.
Okay, thank you very much, Becky.
I have a question. I thought somebody sent some comment to us. I've advised him to send it over. I'm not sure. It's a name called Kenny somebody. Kenny Lee somebody. Did you receive that?
They obviously haven't, Andre.
There is a member comment from Mr. Lee. We are still investigating that right now.
Okay.
And
all right.
I did receive one more member comment just now, if you'd like me to read that.
Go ahead, please.
Okay. This is from Maxine McIntosh at 68C. Please help everyone remember that we have thousands of single and lovely United members who are very frightened of the COVID virus. They listen to all the warnings, stay in their homes, and most of the time. There are very few things they can safely do, such as take pleasant walks and check their laundry room for magazines or books to trade. Some of them tell me how much they enjoyed finding little gifts some neighbors place for others. My own husband found a nice puzzle there 2 months ago and discovered that for the first time in 60 years, he can really enjoy working a puzzle. Several neighbors now rotate puzzles through the laundry rooms. Some notices have been seen stating the laundry rooms are only for laundry. From their very beginning, the developer, Ross Cortese, stated they are also designated as social areas, places where residents can meet their neighbors, where neighbors can meet neighbors. In fact, there were small television sets hung on the walls of each laundry room. I've been watching 5 laundry rooms closely all these sad months and never found groups congregating there. Mostly, I see just one person at a time in the room and have seen magazines, books, crystal pieces, canned food, nothing perishable, new pots, holders, puzzles, and board games, etc. Please do not destroy one place where frightened people can experience a little joy. That is all.
All right. Juanita, would you give us the VMS update, please?
It would be my pleasure. I'm sorry, my camera's not working. I guess I have to talk to West Coast because I'm getting a message saying that I have weak bandwidth. So I guess I'm going to have to up that. But I have 2 things I'd like to go over with you this morning. First of all, you need to know that we are underway with our annual compensation study, and it's with a third party. And the upshot of this is that we are finding that we are 10% below market value of about $100 million, about $1 million less than market value of what are paid outside the village. This may be one of the problems that we're having in hiring new people. So it'll be interesting to get the results of the new study, and hopefully that will help us with the hiring. Second thing I'd like to talk about, and I don't want to step on Jeff, who I'm sure he's going to give some of this also, is the COVID. There is a task force for the COVID vaccine. I have been working with City Council, particularly Sherry Horn, and through her with our representatives Cotty Petrie Norris and Lisa Bartlett. There is a task force that is formed on when and how the vaccines are going to be distributed. At this time, we do not have representation on that. In fact, South Orange County has almost no representation on there. So through these three people, we're working on that to try to get better representation so that when the vaccine is available, our residents will have access to it. We are in the top 2 tiers, either tier 1A or tier 1B. The Towers has been designated as a site for assisted living, and the rest of Laguna Woods Village has not, because we are an active adult and there are too many people of other ages that are not 65 plus and don't fit into that category. So we're having to work on how we can divide that up. But just wanted you to know that we are also exhibiting the spikes that we're finding throughout the whole state, in fact, the country. I believe, and as I say, Jeff can update this even better, we have 117 new cases, which is the highest that we've ever been, and we have had 2 confirmed deaths. Also, we have had, in the last week or so, 2 confirmed positives that have been residents that have infected, if you will, some of our staff that we have had to quarantine. So I do plead for everybody to wear their masks, do their social distancing. It's too easy to say, oh, it's not affecting us. It is starting to affect us. And I think it's only because we have taken such good precautions in the past that we have not had more spikes on this. So we will certainly let you know as soon as we have any information about the vaccines, and we will do what we can to make sure that we can offer that to whatever residents would be interested in that. VMS has our annual meeting coming up. I encourage all of you as directors to attend. I'm sorry it's not open to the general residents, but we certainly would like to see our directors there. Thank you.
Thank you, Juanita. We have one more comment, and then we forgot to answer any of those questions that we got from these people. So would you go ahead, Becky, and give us the Ken Lee comment?
Thank you, President Margolis. So this is from Ken Lee at 2091A. It says, Dear board members, VMS charged me $1,676.96 as a chargeable service without my consent and my signature. I submitted an appeal request on November 18th, 2020 to a staff member, maintenance programs coordinator, per the staff member's instructions, but have not received any response yet. Please help me take care of this issue. Thank you for your support and assistance in advance. That is all.
Okay. Jeff, do you want to answer any of the ones that we had? The leaf blowing, insurance lawyer, lighting, and laundry, and appeal.
I would. Thank you to the board. Good morning, and our residents. Talk about a couple of the ones. With regards to the insurance, that is something that I obviously from the village has been real critical this last couple of years and what we've seen. And as a result of that, one of the leadership activities that Sue Margolis and took on, and along with the other mutuals, we formed a insurance task force. And the purpose of that insurance task force is to evaluate our current status with regards to property insurance mainly, although it will include our other insurance policies, but property insurance is the one that had the significant jump this year with regards to the costs to the village. So we're looking at not only the process, but we're looking at how we go about that process, looking at the retention RFP process with regards to evaluating brokers, and then also contacting local insurance companies that are outside of the broker-to-broker process, where we as the staff can contact individual insurance companies such as State Farm, Farmers, Allstate, and see whether or not they would be interested in insuring the village in part or in whole. And so we're taking a look at that. As we progress, I'm sure the insurance ad hoc committee will be reporting back not only to all of the boards, but to our residents out there in a way to try to reduce the amount of cost that's associated with this. And really what that comes down to is the amount of insurance that the village wants to carry, on what is our risk, what level can we live with, and on a fourth level, I guess, in a sense, what level is required with regards to working with our lending institutions to make sure that we meet the requirements or look at meeting the requirements with regards to the lending institutions. So that task force to the residents just started. We had our first kickoff meeting a week ago. We have another one coming up later, about a week and a half from now, and we'll be updating information to the task force with regards to some of the questions that they had asked. So I think that's in the works with regards to Mr. Beckett's issue with regards to evaluating whether self-insurance or whatever process we think is going to be in the best interest of our residents and the mutuals to protect themselves. With regards to the leaf blowers, I'm going to have to look into that specifically. But Siobahn does have an answer on that, so I'm going to shift it over to her, and then I'll with regards to Mr. Lee's, we'll take a look at that specific request and track that one down and get an answer to Mr. Lee. And with regards to Maxine, obviously the issue with the COVID is, and we got to, obviously follow our rules and regulations with regards to making sure that areas are safe and meeting those requirements under the state law with regards to wearing masks in any place out there in the public. Siobahn?
Thank you, Mr. Parker. With regard to leaf blowers, Mr. Italiano is aware of our efforts. We're trying to identify a workable solution here. We've tried raking, brooms. Most recently, we've tried walk-behind vacuums and also electric equipment, but that equipment doesn't have the ruggedness that we need. So our Department of Landscape is working towards identifying a workable solution in this regard. And I did want to mention that the white paper that he mentions was a study on municipal park settings and not residential environs. Not that that is significant, but I did want to make that clarification. Thank you.
With regard to the lighting, we need to make sure, Reza, would you make sure that these people have filled out the form requesting lighting in their cul-de-sac? That is I'd appreciate you taking on that case for them, and we'll get you the information of the people.
Sorry, Sue, is this the lady that I did all these information and filled out the form and everything? Is it Barbara? I didn't hear the Becky good.
No, it was Golden was the last name.
What is the address?
Can you repeat the address, Becky?
Sure, let me pull that up.
Go ahead, Carl.
I just like to add with regard to that lighting. The lighting form gets filled out. It then gets reviewed by our maintenance and construction department. There are certain protocols that have to be met in order for us to put a light there. Okay, change in direction, change in elevation is the protocol that was established within United. If it doesn't meet that criteria, I don't know what the situation is in this particular case, then we're not going to be putting a light there. That's the normal protocol that we're following right now. So just for information, but the form has got to be filled out and it has to be investigated first.
Okay. Becky, do you have the information?
I do. It's Michelle Golden at 250 G as in go.
Okay, it's not the same person. Moving on.
But I think the same area. I check it out and let me know.
Okay. Let's see here. I'm sorry. Cash, go ahead and ask Juanita your question, and then we'll go on to COVID.
Yeah, I think we have to look at who we hire. Most of our hirees come after their full job retirement. So we can't compare salaries of younger people to people who are hiring again a second time.
I don't believe
10% is.
No, we're talking about all of the employees, Cash, not just upper management. And most of our employees are not retirees.
Okay, Manny, go ahead on COVID.
Yes, thank you, Sue. I've been asked by a number of members some questions that I couldn't answer. And their questions were similar to what the public has about enforcement on COVID-19. This person said to me that they'd been in a gathering that was allowed in the community, and certain members there refused to wear masks. They called security, and security responded that they couldn't enforce them to wear masks. Then the same member that brought that topic up said, what is the rule? Because, supposedly out in the public you're required to, but in here we can't enforce it. Next question was, since the original rules were promulgated under an emergency requirement, which only lasts for 90 days, are the fines still in place? And I said, I don't think so, but I don't really know. So there's a bunch of questions like these that members have asked me that I simply can't answer. So I'd like to have Jeff, go through that whole process of, what are the rules now, what can be enforced, what can't be enforced, and so on. Thank you.
Jeff, you want to go ahead?
Certainly. Again, good morning to the board of directors and the public. With regards to my update on COVID-19, there's several topics that I was going to hit, along with reinforcing what Juanita indicated. And to begin with, and appreciate Juanita's efforts in contacting our, additionally contacting our state assembly woman and also our local supervisors. We also reached out to our congresswoman for contact with regards to the state, with an interest in being more directly involved with the vaccine task force. As Juanita said, we don't have membership on there. A lot of agencies are on that, but not individual homeowners associations. Since we are one of the largest or the largest senior populated homeowners associations, we thought it would be important at least that they certainly hear our voice, and we have been in contact with the task force, both myself and also Susan McInerney and our social services, contacting them with regards to interest being on the task force, and also making sure that they're aware that we have a substantial population above 65 and older, putting us in that higher risk category, which under the guidelines that they're working off of right now, puts Laguna Woods in that 1B category, if we can ascertain that they're going to follow that. And that's kind of the first key, and that's what Juanita was referencing with regards to the 1A and 1B on how they get allocated the vaccine. What we do know is that there are very limited vaccines right now, and that they are going to what we'll call category 1A, which is the highest people in that category, which includes health and safety people working at hospitals, nurses, doctors, all of those, and first responders, police and fire, as well as a requirement that the jail system would be one of the first areas that they would have to address in individuals working in the jail area to protect those employees and that environment. The reality is that even being at a high category of 1B, we are still not going to see vaccines happen in what I'll call the near future. When I say the near future, I think we'll have to be looking in the January, February before we see any implementation out here in Laguna Woods. And with that, one of the things that we've been in constant contact with the task force and other people is what is going to be their distribution model. They had what is historically what we call a pod model, which is they use specific areas, designated locations as distribution centers. However, there's a lot of dialogue that system won't work under the vaccine distribution because the vaccines, especially in the case of Pfizer, have to be maintained at a very, very low sub-zero temperature, and then they're taken out of that sub-temperature before they're distributed. And so a lot of the dialogue is that they're going to be fixated on using the hospital system and doctor's offices as the distribution and medical clinics as a distribution center, as opposed to locating it like at the Laguna Woods has used when we're talking about distributions, they've used the Catholic Church, and we certainly have locations designated within Laguna Woods at clubhouses. So that still has not been determined, and we continue to communicate with them to find out which direction they're going to, because we want to facilitate as best we can to see that the village, number one, is on a high priority to have the access to the vaccine, and then secondly, how we can help distribute that if necessary. I'm going out of direction a little bit what I was planned, but I wanted to answer some of Manuel's questions with regards to the emergency resolution that was passed with regards to wearing masks and the requirements and the fines behind that. That did expire, just as you indicated, after a 90-day period. It was the decision at that point in time was that we were just going to follow the state guidelines with regards to the requirements with regards to social distancing, wearing masks, gatherings, and all that. So at that point in time, there wasn't and isn't at this point in time a fine structure with regards to not wearing a mask. What we reverted back to at the time was that when you go outside, if you can social distance, then you don't have to wear a mask. That was the policy up until the new stay-at-home order that just came out. In that process, if somebody was not wearing a mask, we got called and say it was a recreation event or some activity, and our security went there, we would ask them kindly to wear their mask. If they didn't wear their mask, then at that point in time, a report could be taken, and that could become a compliance issue. So that's different than a legal enforcement issue. With the new stay-at-home order that has happened now and what I was going to report on, when the governor introduced the concept of potential stay-at-home, revised stay-at-home order based on ICU capabilities throughout the state of California, the Orange County was included in a Southern California region, which runs from San Luis Obispo County all the way down to San Diego County. So very, very large Southern California region. And the requirement for all of these regions is that they have to have 15% ICU capability in their hospital beds. And if they drop below that 15%, then this official stay-at-home order goes into effect. For the Southern California region, we dropped below the 15%, and so that mandated on Sunday night at midnight that we are now under this new stay-at-home order. Just to let you know, our ICU percentage for that whole Southern California region is at 10.9 as of this morning. So that shows you that we're under by almost 5%, that 15% threshold. Now, Orange County, as of yesterday, was above the 15%, but we are now locked into a whole Southern California region. And the purpose from that, based on what the information we have, is that certain counties have more of an impact with regards to their ICU beds, as do certain hospitals. And so the idea was to create a regional perspective on this to make sure that they could, if it was necessary, to move people around to coordinate ICU beds and not get to a point where they were in critical situation where they were having to do major transportation shifts with regards to people in ICU beds. That happened back in July. If you recall, when we hit same kind of critical mass, there were people from Imperial Valley and areas like that were being brought to ICU beds in Orange County, as an example, because they didn't have enough capacity in Imperial County. So that is one of the critical areas with regards to that. Under that stay-at-home order, basically you need to be wearing masks and social distancing now. However, as enforcement, and this is the second question Manny asked, it has been clearly stated by the Orange County Sheriff that his organization, as Orange County Sheriff, is not a mask enforcer, and they're not going to be out there enforcing or regulating whether people are following this new state guideline. And so that is obviously puts a quandary. So we can't, if somebody's breaking the law and we call the Orange County Sheriffs, they've indicated that that's not a call that they're going to send an officer out with regards to somebody violating that. So again, if we move forward in the village, it would be on a compliance basis, that you're not complying with a state law, or you're not complying and keeping up with a regulation within the community. So that is something that we would have to look at. With regards to our own security, we will still be going around if we get a call and asking people and reminding people of the need and the necessity to be wearing a mask and social distancing. So that will be our continuation. On to numbers real quick, and Juanita mentioned it, Laguna Woods, which is the city of Laguna Woods, is the category, at 117 cases. That's up from 105 from last Friday. So that's a pretty big jump in percentage, although we still continue to be one of the lowest areas. So again, thankful to our residents and everybody participating in wearing their mask and social distancing, because our numbers are still significantly lower than other areas. But we are seeing a jump up, just like all of Orange County and the state of California has seen in the last. And to show you what I mean by that, yesterday's cases were 1,964 cases in Orange County. That is a significant number. On Sunday, it was over 2,000 cases in Orange County. We were reporting cases in the 100 to 250 back 4 weeks ago. So you can see the numbers that are jumping up with regards to that, and the impact on those cases, depending on where they are and who they are, is what's the critical nature of this whole stay-at-home order, and that is the hospitalization. So as of Friday in Orange County alone, hospital beds were at 735 and 179 ICUs. We are now up to 877 people that have been hospitalized, and 218 ICU beds are being occupied. We will, if that obviously continues, and we're just now seeing the impact of Thanksgiving starting to roll in on numbers, and that's their concern, is that at some point in time, will we get our ICU beds where they're going to have to take and modify hospitalizations to address ICUs versus normal hospitalizations. So that's the struggle out there that they're facing right now. And we'll keep you posted on that. And on Mondays and Fridays, I go on TV6, and then we send up information in the blast on Fridays to keep people up to date with regards to that. The final note on that, looking forward, I guess, and trying to analyze this, right now we're experiencing in Orange County 22 cases per 100,000. Again, reporting back, just a month ago, we were about 6 people per 100,000, so now we're at 22, and our average daily is of people that are testing positive is running on an average daily of 8.8% of those being tested are testing positive. So it's not only the cases are going up, but our average daily percentage of people that are testing positive has gone up. So it is real. It is impacting all of the Southern California. As you know, if you wander out, you're going to be limited in access with regards to retail establishments and certainly restaurants. Like Restaurant 19 was serving, as you know, out in the patio. They will not be able to do that anymore. They can do take home, take out, and you can call for food there still. And we still have that opportunity, and we'll continue that, but you won't be able to dine even in the outdoor patio area. So until this goes away. This is for 3 weeks. Once we went into the category as of Sunday, mandatory 3 weeks, but it also is associated with a projection that is being done by the health departments on twice a week, and they have to project that 4 weeks out, you're going to be back above that 15%. If you're not, that'll add on an additional week. So the first is mandatory 3 weeks, but it is very highly suggested by myself that if you see a 10% the rest of this week, just add on another week. So we have to get back to above the 15% and rising before they're going to not just continue this stay-at-home order for weeks to come, unfortunately. And that's all I had on the COVID-19. Sue, I don't know if you want to move ahead and go over to Siobahn. I know she has a few items.
Yeah, we got the VMS appointments that were before the CEO report, and we obviously got 90% of the CEO report, but that's okay.
Okay.
I'd like to go ahead to the VMS appointments, and then we'll come back to you and Siobahn for your report.
Thank you.
Okay. So we do have 3 candidates. I'm going to give each of them 3 minutes to tell us about themselves, and then we'll look at questions that we have. So they get 3 minutes to discuss themselves. So we'll start with Garon Gray. Would you go ahead and give us 3 minutes to tell us about yourself and why you're applying for the VMS position?
Good morning, everyone. Can everyone hear me?
Yes, we can. Do you have a camera
Wonderful.
or not?
No, I'm out on a job site right now, so you'll only hear my voice.
Okay, well, we can do that.
But anyways, hey, thank you. I want to thank all of you for the opportunity today to speak with you. This is my 3rd interview within 2 months. Yesterday, I interviewed with the VMS board. Some of you may have been a part of that. As I stated the last time we gathered, I represent a group of people that are quickly moving into the village. That would be the 55 to 70-year-old range. This community is not so much about age, it's about who's here. And this community, as I know it, we all understand, accepts people from the ages of 55 to 105. We all know, we don't want to talk about it, but there's turnover in here, and we know how that is. My goals and my effort to be a part of the United, number one, is to serve with all of you. I congratulate Juanita on her acceptance in the last interview we had a few months ago. Congratulations on that. It's my understanding at this present time there's one individual on all 3 boards or within all 3 boards that is in the age category or the grouping that I'm referring to. My group has many different needs, quite different than some of the other groups, and that group is continuing to grow. So I would like to see representation within the United Board, VMS, and the other boards from a group of people that aren't being heard at this point and have no representation. So with that said, I am here to bring in the future for Laguna Woods, and that future, there's a lot of different requirements for that future that we look forward to as a group that's starting our transition. And so as a part of that, personally, I know what my personal needs are. Many of the setbacks that I personally have, one specifically is in alterations of my condominium. I've been working on this remodel for over almost 5 months now, and some of the challenges haven't been with my contractor. It's been with getting approvals, permits, so on and so forth. The people that I'm referring to are people that live in Laguna Niguel, Mission Viejo, Aliso Viejo, local people that are selling their $1.6 million home, want to stay in South Orange County, but don't need a 5-bedroom place. We're moving in, and we have different needs. One of the things that my group does is we have a tendency to get things done, i.e. if something doesn't get done, we don't wait 3 weeks, 3 months, etc. We get it done and we do it ourselves. So with respect to...
Tab is expired.
Thank you. We'll move on now to Norm Kahn. Norm, can you put your... Norm, are you there? Go ahead, please. We can't hear you, Norm. I don't know what your situation is. Do you have a camera, Norm? Can you put something in the chat box? There's a little bubble up on the right-hand side. If you click on that, you can write something in the chat box. Okay, we'll go on. Let's see, Norm, we cannot hear you. Can you call in again or come on again? Reset yourself and come back. Can you give him a call, Grant, and we'll go on to Ray, because Ray we can see and hear probably.
Yes,
we have
we'll
seen and heard. Ray, would you like to go ahead? Where is Ray? Boy, we're having...
He's right there.
He's muted. He's muted, Sue.
Muted. You need to unmute yourself.
Ray, you need to unmute yourself and turn your camera on. If you can, your camera's on, but please unmute yourself.
Ray, you're knocking, but you can't come in. Unmute yourself.
Well, I guess we're just going to have to proceed to a vote.
Grant, can you unmute Ray? There you go, Ray. Come on now.
Now unmuted.
Come on, Ray.
Thanks for the Laguna Woods internet. Everybody can hear me now, right?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I just became a resident about a little over 2 years ago in Laguna Woods. And in the last 2 years, I have had many encounters with deficiencies and numerous complaints. And, talking to my neighbors, I find out that with the vast knowledge of social and professional experience and background, I would be an asset to the board. Therefore, I try to make myself a candidate so I can help our community for a better service and more efficient and pleasant living environment. Whether it's from maintenance, construction, recreation, transportation, I do have a good background on all that. Being an educator, I've been through all this, and working as a public servant for the state of California, Department of Transportation, for over 20 years as lead engineer, and having group of 12 always at gives me qualifications to be able to help our board and the environment for our community, the most efficient way to solve problems. At last, thank you all for giving me this opportunity, and await for the vote.
Okay, Norm, you came on. Try again. Unmute yourself. There you go.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Oh, great. I'm sorry for the problem. Good morning, everyone, and thank you for considering me to represent United Mutual on the VMS board. I'm sorry my camera isn't working, but I thought my techie took care of all this. Nevertheless, having given a lot of consideration about what's going on in the village and loving it here, it became obvious to me that I should do more than just be a viewer. And so my interest in becoming a VMS board member is pursuant to my candidate statement, a desire to contribute whatever I can to this community, which I now call home. We all know that Laguna Woods is a very special and unique place, at least certainly to me it is, with much to offer along with its share of usual problems. Along with the current unusual problems, of course, we're dealing with the COVID's additional restraints and restrictions. As I understand it, and as my past dictates, the usual problems that face most associations are really easily solved. Whereas in Laguna Woods, with its size and diversity and its intertwined corporate and board structure, it can, and often as I see it does, complicate and kind of magnify what are regarded as the usual problems for smaller communities. I've spent a lot of time doing my homework, and I've learned about and understand many of the current village general issues, but separately, as they relate to United Mutual, I honestly believe I can bring additional and positive input to the VMS board, while also very responsibly representing United Mutual and all my shareholder neighbors. Of course, I don't propose to be a one-stop fix-it, nor do I expect to have solutions to all the problems facing our community. That said, I do believe if elected to the VMS United board, I can and will be a very fair and wise and objective representative for all the factions of Laguna Woods. At this point, I look forward to going to work and to contribute to what I expect to be a successful future for our community. I want to thank you all again for your consideration and hope that I become approved. Thank you.
Okay, Norm, since you're on, I'm going to ask you the first question. What skills, resources, and experience do you have, and how would you use them on behalf of the board?
Well, as 40 years of being in various businesses, most of which were under a corporate structure that I was part of and founded, I have diverse experience in many facets of business, in financial and accounting and sales and all of the areas that makes a company. And I believe that all of those assets can be utilized for the board and for the village. I believe that my experience is somewhat tailored well for this board, and look forward to serving on it.
Okay, thank you. I'm going to go now to Garon. Could you describe to me what you think the VMS board does?
Well, as I see the VMS board doing it, it addresses many of the needs, and I just want to throw this out. I've heard the word problem many times in every meeting I've been in. As far as I'm concerned, there are no problems in the village. There are only situations that require assistance or taking care of. If somebody has a plumbing problem or if there's a maintenance problem, so on and so forth, I really feel that the board, it's their responsibility to make everyone that lives here, including ourselves, enjoy. We've worked very hard over the years. So the VMS board and the responsibilities on that board are basically to take care of the needs of the community, whether it be financial. I've heard in this same meeting things about COVID. Very, very tenuous situation there. And there's responsibilities, but yet the board has to be very wise in how they make their decisions and things like that. So decision making is very important. How those decisions are made are even more important, and how they get taken to task, how those things are done, how quickly things are done in the community. And it's the responsibility of the VMS board to make sure that those happen in a very kind and seamless way.
Thank you. And Ray, what are you familiar with the David Sterling Act?
No, I'm not.
Okay, that was a short answer. Okay, well, why don't you give me what skills and resources and expertise you plan to bring to the on behalf of the board?
I consider myself as an asset to the board because of my previous experience, and the learning I had through all my career is how to plan, how to listen, how to approach the solutions for any problems that comes in, whether it was through my piloting career or whether it was through my education, whether it was through my previous teaching and being a public work for Department of Transportation. We all had to go through procedures, and the procedures are alternatives, best solution. Of course, we had to consider the alternatives what financially can be affordable. And those experiences I had, especially to get to the mechanical part of the problem, like engineering, all aspects of engineering. So I can help our planning department. I can help alterations, which I went through it for 6 months. And I found it not very efficient. Things I can suggest that makes life much easier for everybody, more efficient and much faster to get to it.
Thank you. Okay, Norm, are you familiar with the Sterling Act, the David Sterling Act?
I'm basically familiar with what it does. I know it's a one-man guru up in Sacramento, and I know he's heavily involved in all the association rules and regulations. So I don't know all the things that are involved, but all it takes is one read to find out.
Okay. And Gerund, Gray, are you familiar with the David Sterling Act?
Not.
Okay.
I'm not.
Is there anybody on the board that would like to ask questions? All right. I'm not seeing anything in here. Let's go. Cash, do you have questions?
Yeah, I have a general question. We are replacing a candidate whose term has expired. My question to you was, the term is 3 years or 2 years?
The term is 3 years, and his 3-year term is up.
So, okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Andre, you can go ahead and ask a question of all 3 members, please.
Yes, I would like to know what makes you think you are the best candidate among 3 of them to be on VMS board. What will you propose to make changes to make it more efficient and more community friendly?
Okay, so Norm, would you go first since your mic's on?
What's your background in that area that can help you make it happen? Thank you.
I'm sorry, Sue, did you say I was going first?
Yes, I did.
Okay. I can't answer that. I'm a businessman. I'm a dyed-in-the-wool businessman. I don't like to preconceive what I might do, what I might not do. There isn't much access to the VMS board. I know exactly what it does in many ways, but for me to say I have things that I want to change or do would be foolish. I'm not going to do anything until I know what I'm doing. So I believe my history, my background, and my knowledge can add a lot to the VMS board. It's a business board. I'm a dyed-in-the-wool businessman with a long history of success. I don't anticipate any problems as far as being able to adjust and make decisions that will help VMS and help the village. So I can't really answer directly what I'm going to do. I have no preconceived agenda.
Thank you. Ray, go ahead. You're muted. You're muted. You're still muted. Ray, we cannot hear you.
Ray, look at the bottom of your screen. It says mic.
Now it's
there
on.
you go.
Yes. Well, as I said before, this agenda, the question actually is not one size fits all. And, I cannot bring my personal agenda because I may have few of them down here, but that doesn't work right now. I have to become a board member to bring it to the board to get answers, and how we approach is every agenda is different. Therefore, with my background and my knowledge, and as I mentioned my background before, I'll be willing to attack any problems in efficient manner.
Thank you. And Jaron?
25 years I've been addressing situations. That's my business. That's what I do. I'm a business owner. I own my own business. I have factories overseas, so on and so forth. So I'm a project manager. That's what I do for a living. I've been doing that for over 38 years now. So what I bring to the board is project management. Situations come up, I address it quickly. I don't wait. I am physically able to walk the community. Eyes and ears are more important than what people say. I heard 3 things earlier from residents. 3 out of 16,000 people, really. So my efforts for the board, number one, is to work with all of you. I highly respect all of you. And at the same time, I'd like to bring some new eyes to the community. I see things, and so I get things done. I was looking at an orange cone and some PVC pipes sitting in front of my unit here for over a month. I took care of it, so on and so forth. So as an effort, if you have that question, you can ask my neighbors. But, but they're starting to step up and do things and take care of their community. People move in here and think it's your responsibility to take care of everything for them. That's absolutely incorrect. We're all in this together. I purchased a co-op. That means, I do work, you do work. We do it together. So I bring that vision to the board on how we can help the community understand that we all work together. If the gardeners don't do something, I do it. If you want to pick up something, pick up trash, I encourage people to do that. Obviously, there's people in this community that can't. But again, the future of Laguna Woods is folks that are going to move in here that have businesses that can work. And I'm there to support them and represent them on the board and bring that, something that is lacking at this time. The vision for the future is now, not next week, not next month, not next year.
Okay, quick question. You're still working, correct, Jaron?
Yes, but I own my own business.
Okay.
But at the same time, I have people that work for me.
Ray, are you still working?
I do some consulting, engineering from different firms, but I do it at work, at home. I don't go anywhere. Well, with the COVID-19, most of the people doing it from home anyway. Yes, but I have plenty of time because, sometimes I put 20 hours a week, sometimes I put 3. It is not sure. Especially on the project I was working in Santa Barbara, 10 miles for the state of California, Caltrans. Since I initiated this job, design about 10 years ago, they still contact me for some of the questions, and they pay me good too. But unfortunately, recently I was told that since I'm retired and not member of the department anymore, they cannot send work to me since they do have a 600 engineers in Irvine, California, District 12. So it has to be forwarded to them. Although they're not happy doing that, because training those people for another 3 months to be able to do what I know I have done 6 years ago is much more efficient to the department. But you know rules and regulations.
Thank you. Norm, are you still working?
No, I'm fully retired.
Okay, I think
I'm fully retired.
So everybody understands how to vote, correct? You go into the chat box, you select the organizer only. You write the name of the person you're going to vote for, and you send. Caller number 4, would you give us your name, please? Caller number 4. You've got your thing on, caller number 4. Just the person that's caller number 4. See, could you tell me who you are? Right now, please speak, caller number 4.
So they don't know they're calling number 4 unless
Juanita's not calling. I'm trying to figure out who's called in on the phone. Is there any way we can figure that out? I don't think so. Oh, well.
President Margolis, we currently have 10 votes. We're waiting on one more vote.
Did you get mine, Grant? I mean, it's organizers only, right?
Right, correct.
We still require Director Gilmore's vote.
Brian, are you there?
Yes, I sent that in.
Please resend.
Grant, please verify you got that, okay?
I have received it, thank you.
Okay, I'd like to thank you volunteers for coming in. Even I don't know which of you will be our representative, but I really appreciate you taking the time, and we will look forward to having you apply for other jobs. We have a lot of openings on our committees. We need engineers, and we need young people, and we need all kinds of people, knowledgeable businessmen and so forth. So we would really like you to look at volunteering for doing other things for us. We need you.
President Margolis.
Yes.
I have the count. Would you like me to read just the result of the highest vote or the result of all votes?
The result of all votes, please.
Okay. We have 7 votes for Mr. Norman Kahn, 2 votes for Garon Gray, and 2 votes for Riahi.
Okay, thank you, Norman. Your work is cut out for you.
Yeah, I think it is. I want to thank the board. You folks have my commitment to work diligently on behalf of VMS and United.
Thank you. Okay, we'll move on to the next part of the meeting, which is the rest of the CEO report.
To the board, good morning again. I just wanted to, one last thing, wanted to mention, obviously, we've had, everybody's aware of the malware situation. I just wanted to give you a quick update with regards to pulling that information back in, getting our computers and phones and everything scrubbed so that we could bring back the data back into our computers. We had the data sitting there. It was unencrypted, like I indicated to you before. So now is just getting that information back into a workable situation for all our departments and our staff. That means getting their, not only the shared drives, but their individual drives and all of that information back. We started going through a process of saying, okay, we'll take the first 5 years of data and get that back in so that we can get workloads scheduled, operations scheduled, being able to interact with our resident services and getting emails and all of that going. So that is a work in progress. It's taken longer than we thought because of the amount of data that was in individual drives and servers. So, and making sure, and most importantly, with our new operation, making sure that we have the security factors there so that we don't run into the same malware or a different malware situation. As a result of that, there has been some increased costs because we had to go out and purchase some new equipment and update equipment because of our new protocols with regards to safety. Our old equipment literally could not handle some of that new requirements that we put in place. So there were some additional expenditures, and we've gone back to GRF and let them know about that, and we're putting a resolution to them at their next board meeting, along with a detailed accounting of where the expenditures to date is coming from in specific areas. And once we have that report ready to go, we'll disseminate that to all of the board members so that you have an update on that. And with that, I'll turn it over to Siobahn.
Thank you, Mr. Parker. Honorable President, members of the board, I have a few updates for you this morning, and I'll keep it brief because I know it's been a long meeting already. Construction on El Toro Road is coming. Intermittent lane closures will occur on both sides of El Toro Road between Moulton Parkway and the Lutheran Church of the Cross and St. Nicholas's Church. This will occur from Thursday, December 10th through Thursday, December 24th. For more information, please call the City of Laguna Woods City Hall at 949-639-0500. From December 14th through December 17th, tree trimming will occur at RV Lot A. A village tree crew will be performing tree trimming in the upper lot, the upper parking area. So if you happen to be in the area during this time, please exercise caution and be on the lookout for moving equipment and crews working. This month's free bulky item pickup will occur on Saturday, December 19th. Please remember to place your items near the trash enclosure or in the same location you place your trash bins. Items may be set out the night before or no later than 7 a.m. on pickup day. Please notify resident services prior to setting out your bulky items, and that number is 949-597-4600. And again, that date is Saturday, December 19th for the free holiday or free bulky item pickup. I also want to review the holiday transportation schedule. On Christmas Eve, December 24th, there will be no fixed route service. Plan a ride will be available, however, to all residents from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. And you can make a reservation by calling the Transportation Division at 949-597-4659. New Year's Eve, there will be regular bus service. And on Christmas Day and New Year's Day, there will be no transportation services offered. And lastly, We received an update on the 2020 census. The city of Laguna Woods had a self-response rate of 81.6%. This compares to the 67% national self-response rate and the 69.6% state self-response rate. And then this number does not include any information reported one-on-one with census takers. So our participation rate will be a little bit higher than 81%, which is a great outcome. And we want to thank all of our residents for participating in that. The next steps for the census: the Census Bureau is required to submit their report to the president no later than December 31st, 2020. And the city expects to receive local numbers sometime before mid-2021. So again, that concludes my report this morning. Thank you.
Thank you, Siobhan. Okay, Cash, you had a question about vaccines?
That question has been answered, thank you. But I do have a question on putting our databases on cloud and more than one backups. Are we doing that or are we not doing that?
Yeah, we're doing that. Okay, so let's get to the consent calendar. We're going to try to move through this.
May I ask a question about the data availability?
Go ahead.
What I'm trying to find out is we have already scrubbed the data. Those data are old, and I'm not sure how far back we had the data scrubbed up to. But the new data, we couldn't enter new data, and some of the old data might be not be available. So when will we be available to have all the new data we submitted in between while we are struggling with this malware? When will the whole thing be available for us and be up to date? What community felt that it's their current status?
So I think
there are questions that residents. There are questions residents asking questions, but they couldn't get answers at this point because the data weren't there. So
okay, Andre, let Jeff answer.
So a quick answer to that is that if there is emails or information that has gone through resident services, currently since the system was down, we're back up. All of that relevant new information is being recorded, being put into the system, is in the system, and is being then relocated into, if it requires a operational activity such as scheduling an appointment. All of that is active and current as of the data being back up and on the way. So everything is in the system if it's been recorded through resident services.
Okay, let's move on. I'd like to change 11B to say accept the United subleasing transfer document approved in November. It was distributed as, but we don't want to say that it is ratified. We accept the transfer. So let's change the minutes to receive. Do I have a motion to accept the consent calendar as modified?
I make a motion.
Carl's moved.
I second it.
So we move forward. Is there any changes, other changes to this? Any questions? All right, we're going on to unfinished business. Both Brian and Azar. Azar, would you tell us that you have looked at done the checklist, please?
Yes. I have looked at, although I received it very late, is a month that I am director, but somehow, unfortunate, it's just at the time of this computer situation, and I am receiving very, very late. Basically, none of my question was answered by VMS yet, but yes, I have looked at it.
And Brian?
Yes, to the extent that we're in compliance with Section 5500, the documents have been reviewed. Additional information has been been requested.
Okay, Manny?
Yes, I noticed that Azar made the comment that we got this late, and it's true. I attended the Finance Committee meeting back a couple of weeks ago, and at that meeting I mentioned that we hadn't gotten any of the information to review for under 5501, and I guess that's why we finally got it. And over the weekend when I looked at it, I was a little disappointed because when I went through the bank reconciliation, and this is what I'm going to vote no against this, I found that on the bank reconciliation that the cash on the financial statements that are out there right now, plus the ones that we reviewed, was overstated by, I think it was $69,000. So, so I just stopped right there. I thought, I found some stuff wrong with the reserve expenditures report back there when we did the review in the Finance Committee. Now I find this on the weekend. So, obviously I'm going to vote no because there was an error on the financial statements. So I just want to let everybody know. Thank you.
I just want to correct something there, Manny, and we didn't receive the financial package until we requested it very late. I think it was on Thursday night. Thank you.
I had to request it from Betty in order to get it. So we really got it very late, and we have a lot of questions. Okay, so.
Yeah, but I did mention it at the finance meeting. I mentioned at the finance meeting we hadn't gotten it yet.
Yeah,
right.
So the history is that there were three requests before we finally saw it.
Yeah. Okay, and I have mentioned this to Siobahn, and we will be trying to get it at an earlier date. Let's take a quick vote. How many people? I don't know what we're going to vote on because we know that there are errors in this, so let's just leave it alone. Carl? Turn your mic on, Carl. Mike, you're muted.
Sorry. Based on what I'm hearing here, what are we really voting on? Because it seems to me there's a lot of issues. And, I don't think we're ready for prime time. That's my personal opinion. So,
I agree. We're not voting on this. We're going to send it back to them, and they need to answer our questions. And we're not considering this consistent. We have not done our duties, financial duties, our fiscal duty here, because we don't have information. So we're going on to new business. We're looking at the committees. So are there?
I make a motion that we accept the committee 13A.
Okay, is there a second?
I second.
Okay, is there any discussion?
Just one thing, Sue, if the media and communication is not there, it's just in the GRF. I didn't see it in the committee report. I think they forgot to put it there.
Okay. I did turn in communication.
No, if you're seeing it, I can't see. But in GRF, they put it, but not the committee report.
Okay. So we need to add communication. It is, they just crossed names out. They didn't put the names in. All right, Netta, you're chair. And Elsie's on there. Who is there? Was one other person. I've got to go back to the matrix. Cash, are you the other person?
Sue,
Okay.
Sue, in the hard copy I received under 13A, page 1 of 5, it's got Communications Committee, Netta Ardani, Chair, Cash, and Elsie are committee members.
Yeah, it does. The pink papers.
The pink paper, yeah, exactly.
Pink papers. Okay, Manuel?
I've given you my changes of what I had originally.
Well, you got your changes with the first changes. Now tell me what you want to do.
No.
You asked to be removed from the GRF landscape. I removed you from GRF landscape and put you on on member hearing. Now you're asking.
You didn't tell me you were going to do that when you took me off the other one. So I want to just go back to where I was. So.
Okay. So Anthony, I'm going to put you back on member hearing, and GRF will be Manuel. Please don't make these changes, ask for changes when you aren't willing to go with what goes on. Azar will be the alternate on GRF landscape. I had to balance the numbers. I don't want anybody to have too much work. Okay. Any other, I need to add Dick Rader is asked to be an advisor on finance and an advisor on governing docks. Is there any other advice? Cash? I can't hear you, Cash.
Sorry about that. Insurance ad hoc committee, you're chairing it, so when you put my name as chair, it needs to be corrected.
Yeah.
And second, the GRF community activity committee, I really don't want to take on additional load, but if there's nobody else, then I will continue. I'll go along with that.
You could take me off as alternate and put me on for a regular and put.
Okay, we'll make you the alternate, and then Elsie, you're the lead then.
Sounds good. Thank you.
I'm going to be there anyway.
Okay, it's done. Any other changes?
Thank you.
Okay, Anthony.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I don't agree with the ad hoc insurance committee. That's all I got to say.
We can put your name on there if you want to join it.
Well, it's up to you. I don't think we know what we're doing there.
We'll go ahead and put you on there. Because I'm leading it, it's much easier if I have two representatives. So we'll add your name as a representative on the insurance.
Sue, may I speak?
Yes, Reza, you may speak.
I think this insurance issue is going to come to us every year. So I propose to make a permanent committee and ask board approve it so that there would be a few people there who would look at the alternatives and give us a solid suggestion. That's my suggestion.
Okay, we will look at that because then it would have to become a GRF committee because we're doing it for the village. So let's get through this point here and then maybe we will make it a GRF committee. That is an excellent suggestion. And I will see what we can do with that because you're right. This is not going to be a one-time thing. Okay. Carl's got a question in the chat box and then it's Elsie.
My question has to do with, we made a number of changes here, Sue, and maybe you need to address what the changes were because when we vote, then we'll be voting on the as amended
right. I will go through the changes before we vote. Elsie?
I'm sorry, back to CAC. I just had a quick question. Cash was going to be the one who made the report. So do you want Andre?
No, you're making the report. I made you the lead.
All right. Got it. Thank you.
Okay, let's go through the changes. We'll start with the United Board. Somebody's got me like who's caller number? Somebody called in.
It's me, Madam Chair. I'm making my wife's lunch. I'm calling in.
Okay, so would you mute yourself, please? Thank you. All right. So the architectural is fine, the communication's fine, the finance has Dick Rader as an advisor. The governing docs is fine, it has Dick Rader as an added as an advisor. The members' hearing has Anthony Liberatore in place of Manuel Armadez. The insurance has Sue as the chair, Cash and Anthony as representatives. The software we'll be negotiating in the future, and I'm not sure will be representatives. Okay, GRF. The strategic planning is correct. The CAC has Elsie as the lead, Cash as the alternate. The GRF landscape committee, the finance is fine, the purchasing is okay. The GRF landscape has Andre and Manuel and Azar as the alternate.
No, I thought it was Azar. Azar. I thought Manuel doesn't want to be on it.
No, he changed his mind.
Oh, he changed his mind again. Okay.
So I am a little bit confused. I am alternate on GRF finance now? Because
No.
if the link is, I am there.
You are on I'm talking about GRF landscape.
Oh.
GRF finance, you are the lead. Carl is with you. GRF landscape, which meets once every quarter, so it's not a big deal. You are the alternate.
Excuse me, Sue? On finance,
Sue?
Azar's the lead, right? You said.
Right. Yes, Manny.
Anthony was the alternate, so I thought I was taking his spot, and Azar
No,
is on the committee.
You cannot take his spot.
Okay,
you are on the committee.
Okay,
Anthony's
fine.
got a load to do. That's why I switched you to.
No, I was just following the form, that's all.
Okay.
I was taking Anthony's place.
No.
And could you please one more time tell me who is advisor in finance committee?
GRF finance is Azar and Carl, and the alternate is Manuel.
No,
in the GRF.
for mutual.
On the regular finance committee, you are the chair, Brian, Sue, Carl, and Andre.
And you mentioned advisor, no?
Oh, Dick Rader.
Dick Rader. Okay, thank you so much.
Okay, those are the changes we have now. I have a motion. I'm going to take a vote. Anthony. Okay, Reza.
Hold on 1 second. There is one person for United Landscape Committee. Okay, the advisor, the last person, Stephanie Sugar, is no longer on it. Page 105.
Okay, Stephanie Sugar is no longer an advisor.
Yes. Correct.
We need to scratch her name. Okay.
Yes.
All right. Okay, Reza.
I'm gonna vote no for this committee arrangement because it's not based on merits.
Okay, Anthony.
Yes.
Azar.
Yes.
Etta.
Yes.
Brian.
Yes.
Andre.
Yes.
Cash.
Yes.
Elsie.
Yes.
Manuel.
Yes.
Carl.
Yes.
We have one no, and all the rest are yeses. We have finished that. Okay, I got to get my notes for the next thing. Okay, we have a rush thing that we have to take care of, which is AB 3182. And we have to get this done today, because if we don't do it, we will lose the chance to do, have the subleasing. So staff recommends that board amend the subleasing policy and the qualifiers for subleasing manners. And the changes we need to do, we need to increase our rent cap to 25%, revoke the 01/17/92, which requires 90-day lease, and change the minimum lease term to 30 days, and amend and revoke the resolution 1-1687, which prohibits subleasing in the first year of membership and ownership. If we don't take any action today, we will be liable for a $1,000 fine per applicant, civil penalty per applicant. And so we have to take the come in compliance by December 31st. What I have proposed is that we come in compliance, even though this has to go on a 28-day, as of January 1st, even though this needs to go on a 28-day resolution, that we will come on to compliance as of December 31st, and then we will vote on it at our next meeting. I've run this by Jeff Momont. He said this is perfectly clear, and so I so move. Is there a second?
I second it.
Is there any discussion on this?
I have a question.
Okay, Carl?
My question has to do with the fact that this is a legal issue, and Jeff has indicated it still needs to go on a 28-day. I mean, we're bound by law on this one here. It's not a matter of a nice to have, it's a matter of a need to have. So why do we need the 28 days?
We need to be able to allow the residents to respond to this. So we need the 28 days. That's the legality of it. Okay, Manny.
Thank you, sir. I have some problems with this resolution. And when I attended the governing documents meeting, I asked for a bunch of documents so I could be up to date on this thing. I didn't get those, so I did my own homework. And right now, in the policies and procedures and the current resolutions, this doesn't take care of some of these things. If you look, there are two sections on subleasing. There are the resolutions that fall under a heading called subleasing, and that one is really out of date because there's another section that talks about qualifiers for subleasing, and that's the one that has the resolution 1-17-92, and that's the one that requires you to, I believe it was to, subleases can be no shorter than 90 days, okay? The restricting subletting, that's resolution 11687, and that's the one that restricts your subleasing for 1 year after you purchase your unit. And each of these resolutions have specific statements within them. And this one doesn't have that. For example, one of the questions I have right here, it doesn't mention the cap on leased units. It should. And now it's 25% instead of 20. And in this other resolution, it has that spelled out. It says the percentage and it has number of units. Then this resolution is doing away with 113-50, and that's the one that spells out things as to what's required in the sublease, such as when a lessee subleases the unit to another party, he has to give up the right to use the facilities. It's got age restrictions and so on. So if you eliminate 1-13-50, then where's the resolution that has all these qualifiers in there that you gotta follow? You still have to follow them, okay?
If you look at page
So
25,
this resolution, in my opinion, this resolution, in my opinion, isn't complete.
If
Okay.
you look at page
And
25 of
also-
30, it has all those things in it that you are stating.
Wait, you're not listening. All those were in the previous resolution, so they need to be in these resolutions. I look at this resolution, it doesn't tell me the cap on lease units. The other ones did. It doesn't tell me the allowed length of the subleases. Right now, it can't be as short as 30 days. Well, how about the length? Our old qualifiers was it can't be more than 1 year. So again, in my opinion, this is not complete on the surface.
If you look at
Okay?
page 25 of 30, please, and say that's what.
That's not the resolution. That's not the resolution.
Okay. You want all the statements in there. They're saying that this is the new resolution is page 25 of 30.
That's not the way we do it.
Okay.
Okay. That's because you're rushing this. Okay. I gave you my input.
Okay, you gave me your input. Anybody, let's see, next is Elsie.
Yeah, Manny picked up a lot of things that I was thinking about, but something, I mean, we have to vote on this thing because as it was explained to me by you, Sue, if we don't do this quick, not only will we get the penalties, but we'll have to go with like night to night. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, so I think this is real crucial that we get this through. However, I just want to point out, governing docs is going to have its hands full because we have to come up with a new plan, I think, where if somebody's really going to get in here and churn these into 30-day rentals, like come out and play golf for a month and have a good time, that's all great. But the whole process of the owner giving up his rights to the facilities, the amenities, and the lessee gets to go play golf or pickleball, I'm not picking on golf. Well, I mean, that's a new set of documents, a new set of ID cards every single 30 days on that unit. I mean, we have to vote for this. I'm just saying that we either have to come up with where lessees can't use the amenities. We could do that, but it's going to take a change. So this is just going to be a huge subject.
Well, there is a cost for a lessee, so we may raise the fee for bringing in a lessee.
Yeah, because think of that. What if it is every 30 days? That's just going to be an incredible paperwork mess.
Yeah, we can look at that, bringing up the cost of that. Okay, Cash.
Bring up. Pamela Bashland and I had some talk on it already. If you look at this page number 2, section 14740, it says, unless that governing document or amendment thereto was effective prior to the date the owner acquired title to their separate interest. To me, it means nobody less than 1 year, as we state, still applies. It doesn't change. It doesn't apply to us. Also, if you look at page 1, second from the last paragraph, these provisions do not prohibit a common interest development from adopting a provision in the governing documents that prohibits transit. It just states that it doesn't prohibit us. Doesn't mean we have to do it. I think Pamela may have some comments on it, and I would like her to come up and speak. Thank you.
Okay, Pamela is here. Would you go? Carl, do you want to ask a question before Pamela?
I just want to state right now, based on what I see in the staff report and the resolution, okay, it doesn't say that we threw the baby out with the bathwater. It says that there are certain things within that particular document that are being modified, like the the 30-day issue and what have you, okay? It didn't say that all of those other stipulations, like on page 25, have gone away. 25 still, 25 of 30 and all those other pages still remain intact. The only thing is we cherry picked through the document and specifically stated here under the discussion, this is getting changed, that's getting changed, and the other thing's getting changed. We didn't throw everything out. That's my interpretation. So based on that, if we're only cherry picking those particular changes, then this resolution is good the way it is. That's what I interpret.
Thank you.
Excuse me. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th resolution here says that these have been superseded and canceled. That's all the items that are on page 25 going on. Okay?
Okay, Annie, we're going to let Pamela speak. Thank you. Pamela, go ahead, please.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So I agree that there are provisions in the resolutions being canceled and superseded that are not included in this resolution, but that they are included in the application packet itself. For instance, a shareholder may not sublease his unit, and his tenant may not obtain an ID card unless the owner has surrendered his own ID card. So that's how we control who has access, or attempt to control who has access to the facilities. I believe that your application itself reflects the fact that you have to renew it annually. It identifies the cost to renew it annually. I wanted to point out a correction that we did not make initially, but will need to be made as a part of today's ratification or approval process. And it appears on page 2 of 20, and it's in the first paragraph regarding subleasing. And the next to the last line in that paragraph states that subleases may not be shorter than 90 days. We missed that correction, and it should say not shorter than 30 days. So that's just a correction to what we presented to you that should be accepted in order to keep the rest of your application intact.
Okay. Is there any more discussion here?
What page is that on, Pamela? I'm sorry.
Page 2 of 20, I believe. Let me flip back to that.
I'm seeing 30. I don't see 20.
On the left-hand side, there's 2 of 20. On the right-hand side, it's 6 of 30.
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
It's okay.
So I'm sorry, Sue, what page is it?
6 of 30.
I see, with the 2 of 20, 6 of 30. Okay, and that correction was where?
The first paragraph. At the very bottom of the first paragraph.
Should be 30 days. Got it. Thank you. Sorry.
Okay, we're going to go ahead and take a vote. I think everybody's spoken. We need to do it. Anthony.
No, I still have a question.
Okay, go ahead, Cash. I'm sorry.
There are two issues here. One is the length of the lease, and second is when an owner can sublease. My question is, on the owner can sublease, our document is in place when the owner comes in less than 1 year. So it doesn't apply. We still cannot let anyone lease immediately or before he is here 1 year.
Yes, we can.
We have to.
Not according to this, unless the document, prior to effective date. It clearly states so on page 1 and page 2. I'm looking at AB 3182.
What is your reading?
1 of 25. I'm looking at the first paragraph. It says, unless the document that governing document or amendment to thereto was effective before the date the owner acquired title. So if the owner is here less than 1 year, we already have in place not to allow renting less than 1 year ownership to sublease.
Pamela, what is your reading?
My sense is that Sacramento has approved a one-size-fits-all, and that effective January 1, the restrictions that they have deemed unreasonable restrictions are waived, and somebody who purchases a co-op January 2 will be able to sublease immediately.
That's my reading, and that's Jeff Beaumont's reading as well. Okay,
And
Anthony.
it will be less than 60 days or 60 days.
Aye.
Anthony, your vote?
I have one more question. I'm in the chat box, and the reason why I say this is because of the fact that what Manny had indicated. Okay, we understand right now what it is that we think we're voting on. What we don't want to do is shoot ourselves in the foot and make sure that the resolution that's stated here is what we think it actually says, because based on the fact that it says that these things will be superseded and canceled, it gives the impression that we're throwing everything out. And we're not doing that. We're basically just modifying what we have in there. So the words modified and canceled and superseded give the impression that we're throwing everything out. So do we really understand what the resolution says? I understand now what Manny's saying, that are we just modifying it, which is what we're doing. We're just modifying the actual law, the actual whatever the hell this thing is, okay? And that's what I'm saying, okay? I think we all know that we have to do this, but does the resolution state it as such? And I have some iffy statements about that, but that's my particular point.
Okay. So, okay. Pamela, what do you think we should do? If we get rid of all of the others, can we make a new resolution with all of the modifiers that we had in the others?
I think that would be very difficult. Really, the one resolution that you want to supersede and cancel is Resolution 11687. That's the one that says restrict subletting for 1 year after purchase. If you revoke that, and on this resolution, page 29 of 30, you indicate that the other two resolutions are being modified, and only the one is being revoked and superseded.
Okay.
I think that will satisfy the concerns of your fellow directors, but I would add the caveat that this be reviewed by Jeff to be sure that it meets all of the requirements that the corporation must obligate itself to.
Okay. So we are going to say we're going to revoke the one resolution which we have to revoke, which is 11792.
Actually, it's 11687. It's on page 27 of 30.
Oh, you're right, 11687. So yeah, 11687 we're going to revoke. We're going to modify 11792 to 30 days, and we're going to where is the rental cap in? Is it 11350?
It's in the qualifiers, which appeared with the one in 2013. So you're going to modify that one.
2013. Okay. Okay. With these changes, and Jeff's okay, I'm going to qualify this vote that the changes will be made, and hopefully I will get a copy out to you people. I'd like to take a vote today because I'm not sure that we'll have a chance to take a vote. But if we make these changes, will you accept this? So let's go. Carl.
Wait,
Yes.
I'm sorry, Sue. I'm sorry. Sue, could you run through the modifications? The 11350 adopted March 20th, 2013, you're going to modify that to what?
25%. Okay, Carl.
Yes.
Manuel.
Let me just add something here. 11350 says subleases may be no shorter in duration than 90 days and no longer than 12 months. So you're going to change 90 days to 30. How about the length? Is that affected by 3182?
No.
And my vote is going to be no, because I'm not comfortable with a quick minute change like this. No.
Elsie?
Yeah, I'm a little skittish too, but I'm going to vote for it. But I hope we got to get that modified and straightened out. I mean, that's scary because I'm glad Manny caught that, because it just wipes out all those resolutions. And
Cash?
I will vote no on this because I'm not. I would rather abstain. I don't want to vote no. I want to read it over again.
Andre?
Well, I want to abstain because I want to see what the total changes are rather than just.
Okay. You guys, you realize that if we don't pass this, we lose the ability to pass it. So if you, okay, Brian?
I will agree with the caveat that if we feel as a board we need to amend it, we have that right.
Okay, Netta?
Yes, sir.
Azar?
Based on what Carl says, which was very correct, this is just modification through what we have. And if by chance something in future, we can put addendum. So yes, let's not pay penalty.
Reza?
Yeah, I agree with Pamela's explanation. I would vote yes.
Anthony?
Yes, Madam Chair.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 yeses, 1 no, and 1 abstain. No, 2 abstain. Ash and Andre abstain. Manuel no. 7 yeses. I'm missing a vote.
May I ask, are we going to have another vote? Because right now we're just conditioning all the changes.
No, we are not having another vote. We can't afford enough. We'll have a vote in 28 days. Okay?
I thought this was a conditional vote. When you started it, you said it is unconditional that we have all the changes made and reviewed.
We will have the changes made, and in 28 days, we will vote again. We have 8 yeses, 1 no, and 2 abstentions. Let's move on. All right, I think we're on to reports. Okay, committee reports. The Finance Committee is our.
Yes, we already used all the energy this morning. Could we have the first slide regarding to income?
Yes, one
actual
moment.
Income? Sure.
I'm sorry, what are we doing? I was updating my notes. Are we having a moment of prayer?
No, we are waiting
We're
for.
supposed to get the slides up for the financials, and I don't know what happened here. Do we know what happened?
That's fine, sorry.
I am getting it up right now.
Okay, Azar, go ahead.
Hello.
Can I talk? Okay. This is the first report is about the income statement. It is the actual one. As you can see, we have two kinds of income, assessment and non-assessment. The total was about $37 million. And when you minus the expenses for 33 million, there is a net revenue positive 4 million, a little bit above 4 million, which I have a question about this. What is that? Which I talk about that later. Next slide, please. The next slide is about operating only income. That's different from the last page. Operating, again, we have two kinds, assessment and non-assessment. And the total, it comes with a little bit about 26.2 million. And minus the expenses that they did it for this, 25.5, end up with a surplus of roughly about 650,000. In these expenses, please understand that the depreciation is not included. Next report, please. We are in this one, see the actual versus the budgeting. As you can see, there is some unusual year that we had based on COVID. So you can see the first column was exactly on the first page that you saw, is the actual budgeting between assessment and non-assessment, and which we received 37 million, and the budgeting was 36 million. And as you can see, when you compare to actual with the budgeting for the expenses, is 33 compared to 38 million. So we're left with the variance of 5.7 million. And that's a question mark that I said I have a question regarding to this extra that we have. Next one. As you can see, there are lots of positive, favorable to the United, but it's not because of the saving or something. Is all of these that you can see is positive is based on unusual year of this COVID-19. Outside services is about 2.3 million, and mostly because work being on hold based on this pandemic. And that's how we got this amount overplus compared to the budget. The next one is employee compensation, which is again 2.3 million. 2.3 million is not a saving, it's just because several employees were on leave based on, again, this unusual time. The same for material and other that they got at 1.3 million, and many of the work that's supposed to be done or appliances that's supposed to be changed didn't change, which it will change, but at this point we have this money. Unrealized gain was about a sale in investment. It's about roughly 400,000. But you can see, compared to this plus favorable, we have a huge unfavorable, which was unfortunate based on the fire that we had in California, and insurance exponentially jump up, not a normal slope up. So as you can see from October, when the renewal of the insurance came, this unfortunate wasn't in the budget of last year, so we were short about 600,000 compared to the budget that we have. So this end up with this 4 item in here, which I gave you to the last one, compared to the insurance that we minus that number. Could you please have the next pie chart? This gave you a little bit better idea at what is non-assessment revenue that we have, about 1.5 million. You can see this is non-assessment. As you can see, we have about the unrealized gain. That comes from that 26% from the sales that we had. And the next one to that is 19% that cover with the fees and charges that we had it. These stuff go all the way to the laundry and the miscellaneous stuff that is nothing related to assessment and HOA fee. So the next one. This is a total expenses. When I said total expenses, we are considering total with property and sale tax. You can see the